Okay, 5-letter words are formed using the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G. How many such words are possible for each of the following conditions? First off, no condition imposed. Okay, well, what I want to make clear for you from the notes is, pop them in here for you, that here's the notes, this is the exam for notes, is when order matters. When order matters, which it definitely matters here, right? The order in which we write the letters of a word certainly matter, right? Eat is different than te, right? The order matters. So that's us. We're going to get to these ones later where the order doesn't matter. That's a different situation. But here we are, order matters. When the order matters, the number of possibilities is number of options for decision 1 times number of options for decision 2, etc. So we just have to think decisions options when the order matters. So, okay, so what I suggest is you do an actual example. This will be really helpful to you. I really hope you'll do this. This will help you. So let me do an example of what they're saying. They're saying no condition is imposed. We're picking a 5-letter word. Okay, I'll do one. C, F, C again, B, G. Right? I could repeat. That was fine. And I just picked a 5-letter word. See what I did? I picked a 5-letter word out of those letters. I actually did one. I did an example. Examples are helpful because they help you to think about what you just did and decisions and options. In fact, let me space out a little bit. I did C and then F and then C. I don't even remember what I did, D and G or whatever. Okay, so think about what I did. I made 5 decisions, didn't I? I made decision number 1, decision number 2, decision number 3, decision number 4, and decision number 5. So I made 5 decisions. When I chose this 5-letter word, C, F, C, D, G, I made 5 decisions, didn't I? And the question is, how many options did I have for each of those decisions? Well, when I chose the first letter C, I had what? How many letters are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 letters. So I had 7 options, didn't I? There were 7 different letters. I could have put any of those 7 letters first. Times, when I chose the second letter, and I chose an F, how many options did I have? Well, 7 again, etc. Every decision I made, I had 7 options. I could have put any of the 7 letters in any of those spots. So if you multiply those all together on your calculator, or just take 7 to the 5th power, same thing, you get 16,807. Is that good? See how we just think through decisions and options. So we just think about, I think it's helpful just to do an example first off. I just picked a 5-letter word, and then I thought back and said, all right, I just did it. How many decisions did I make? And for each of those decisions, how many options did I have? 7 options, etc. All right, now for the next one. Now they're saying no letter can be repeated. Okay, let me do an example one. I'm going to go D, A, F, B, G. All right, I did one. 5 letters. I made 5 decisions. Decision 1, decision 2, decision 3, decision 4, and decision 5. For my first decision, which I chose to put D, I, of course, had 7 options, right? You always put the options here. Options, 7 options. And then for my next decision, when I chose to do an A, do you realize I only had 6 options there? Because I couldn't repeat the D. Remember, they said no letter can be repeated. So I could have chosen any of the other letters other than D. I was not allowed to repeat the D. And then when I came to my third letter and I chose F, I had already used D and A, right? I couldn't reuse those. So I only had 5 options, right? From the original 7 letters, I was down 2 options. I couldn't use D or A. And then next I chose B. You get the idea. It just goes down by 1 every time, doesn't it? Does that make sense? Whenever you're not allowed to repeat, then it just goes down by 1 every time because you can't redo what you just did. You have less options every time. So it's 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3. And that comes out to be 2520. Is that good to there? 2520. All right, and then the third part, each word must begin with the letter A. Okay, so I'm going to do an example. Let's start with the letter A. So A, and then I'll go E, G, D, B. I did a 5-letter word. Oh, and I could repeat. Yeah, let me see. I'll go back to A here again and then E, maybe. I don't know. I can repeat anything I want. Right? They didn't say you can't repeat. So there we go. I did it. I did a 5-letter word. So let's think about what I just did. Decision 1, decision 2, decision 3, decision 4, decision 5, and of course, the options for each of those decisions. Okay, so I made 5 decisions. I chose an A to go first. How many options did I have? Well, only 1, huh? I had to, right? Must begin with the letter A. I only had 1 option. I had to start with the letter A. Times, and then I chose E to go next. How many options did I have there? Well, 7. Could have done any letter you wanted, including the A. You could have done another A because they didn't say we can't repeat on this one. Part C, you can totally repeat, so you could do any of the 7 letters, and all the rest are 7 options as well, aren't they? Because you could do anything in those other spots. So really, it's just 7 to the 4th power. So the answer is 2401. We good there? And then for the next one, the letter C must be at the end. Okay, let me do that. D, A, D, dad, B, C. So there we go. I just did an example. I made 5 decisions. Decision 1, decision 2, decision 3, decision 4, decision 5. And what were my number of options? For the first letter, I chose a D. I had 7 options. Could have put anything I wanted there. Next letter, I chose an A. Anything, 7 options. Next letter, chose a D, 7 options. Chose a B. So now the last spot, C must be at the end. So I only had 1 option at the end there, right? That had to be a C. So it's exactly the same as the last one. It doesn't matter whether they specify a digit at the front or the back. It's the same thing. There's just 1 option for that spot, and all the rest have 7 options, don't they? They come out exactly the same. All right, one more. The second letter must be a vowel. So let me actually do it. So now what are the vowels? A, E, I, O, U, right? So A and E. So I'm going to go, all right, D, E, G, A, D. Digad. All right, so how many? So I just made 5 decisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Decision 1, decision 2, decision 3, decision 4, decision 5. For the first decision, and then we do options, right? It's all about decisions and options. For the first decision, how many options? Well, 7. Do any letter you want first. I chose D. For the next, now for the second one, see the second letter must be a vowel. How many vowels? A and E. 2 options, huh? I could have put an E or an A second. It had to be one of those two because those are the only two vowels in our list. A, E, I, O, U. I, O, U are not in our list, so just A and E. All right, and then next decision G, that's 7 options. All the rest are 7, right? Anything you want. So there we go. So that's going to be 4802. There we go. Just like that.